Hello everyone, and welcome to the Thursday video. I am here alone, as you can see, and that's totally okay because today's topic is one that Ryan doesn't really know a ton about anyways, and it's kind of my specialty. If you didn't see the title, which I'm sure you did, or the thumbnail, today I'm going to be talking about the RealReal, not just throwing numbers at you and giving you like an introduction and stuff. I tried to hone down 4 topics that I thought kind of were important and would actually help you guys out. I haven't been making too much RealReal content on YouTube for a while because I just really don't exactly know what to talk about. I don't 100% know what information will really help you guys, and I cannot just keep going over like how it works and how to get started because I have talked about that like 1,000 times. I do have a playlist of the RealReal content, so if you are here to find out kind of how to use it and how to get started, I do have many videos talking about that. So today I just wanted to kind of focus in on some more important topics and some things I've kind of seen you guys asking about. And so if you guys did not know, I have been using the RealReal for maybe like 2.5 to 3 years now. I have been in the like top tier commission of 70% for quite a while. That probably has been like 2 years. I'll dive into what that is and how I got there later in the video, but I have been using them like a madman for quite a while, and I really love using them, and I try to tell everyone that they should if they are not, especially if you are a reseller. Before we dive in, I'm gonna do the YouTuber thing and say if you do like RealReal content from me or from this channel, give the video a thumbs up because that actually lets me know that you guys do like the RealReal content. I know that it doesn't maybe apply to everybody because not all of you do it, but if you do enjoy it and you do come here and watch it, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions for future RealReal content, leave them below. I will be reading them, and hopefully it'll help me kind of like form another RealReal video so I can actually do another one in the future. And tomorrow you are getting a bonus video actually again from just me, and it is going to be RealReal related again, and it is going to be me talking about some of my highest sales in the past couple months. I thought that I would do that just so you guys can kind of see what brands are selling super high over there, in case maybe there are some that you haven't heard of or some that you have sitting around in your posh closet, and you can send them to them and hopefully make some good money. So Friday you are getting a like kind of RealReal sold update, but it's really just going to be highlights of some of the best sales. Maybe I'll tell you what I paid for them, maybe where I got them if I can remember. So the 4 topics that I kind of chose to touch on today are the Poshmark or RealReal decision. So that is like how I decide if I'm going to sell something myself versus if I'm going to send it in and have them sell it for me. The strategy and thought process for me of getting to 70% commission rate, paying up for items and what that looks like, and kind of what I will pay for items that I'm sending it to the RealReal. And last, my process in general. So just kind of day to day, how me making a box for the RealReal and how long it takes, how many I do, just kind of my process with the RealReal and how I use them and utilize them. As for my decision making on whether I will sell something myself or send it to the RealReal, I will send something to the RealReal if it is vintage, but like vintage in a bad way. So not like Y2K or 90s, because that stuff may actually sell well, but if it's like very dated and very vintage, I will send it to the RealReal because I just wouldn't be able to sell it, period. And even if they can't make me a ton of money, they will be able to sell it quickly. That's something I love about them, is it seems like most things sell very, very fast on there. There is not much waiting around. Another type of item that I send off to the RealReal is when I find brands that I definitely cannot sell myself and I find them for cheap. So that would be things like Alberto Macaulay, that weird like scrunched ruched popcorn top brand, and like North Face when it's kind of just like the basic fleece tops, or maybe like thinner jackets or something. When it's a down coat, I will sell North Face myself, or if it was something a little bit more special. But if it's more like the basic fleece and stuff, I will send it into them, and things like that where I find them in the bins quite often, but I know that I won't really be able to sell them well. I will will send them to them because they didn't cost me almost anything, and why not turn like 50 cents into, even if it's like $8, and I don't have to do any work. And then this is where it gets more into actually kind of like looking into the items and doing some kind of like mental math and mental comparison. Since I am at the 70% commission, which only applies to items over $200, I will send the RealReal items that I know they will price over $200 if they will price it kind of around what I would price it at. So we all know that on Poshmark, you make 80% when an item sells. On the RealReal, if you're in the tier that I'm in, I will make 70% if the item sells for over 200. So say that I find a pair of like Versace sneakers, and I see that I could probably sell them on Posh for maybe like $450 or $500, but then I see that on the RealReal, they sell for maybe like even $400 or like $450. I will definitely send it to them because first off, it is only a 10% lower payout for me compared to if I sell it myself, and I don't have to do any work. Plus, the liability and confusion and shipping and possible like issues with an order and issues with an item is now on them and it's not on me. So say if someone's like, oh, it doesn't fit right, I didn't know anything about Italian sizing, then that's not a me problem. They can deal with that. They get to take all the pictures, they get to do all the work, and I make almost as much as I would on Posh. Those items I will send to the RealReal. If I see that they're pricing it way different than me, so again, these Versace shoes, I can sell them for probably $500, and they'll probably list them around like $300, then I might try them myself for a while. But another thing that goes into this thought process is, like I said before, they sell things so fast. So on Posh, you most oftentimes have to sit on expensive items quite long. Posh isn't a super luxury specialized place. You definitely can sell luxury. I do it quite often, but the traffic isn't there compared to the RealReal. The RealReal has, I think they always say like 2 million or something customers that are shopping like daily. They get all that traffic, so many more people are seeing it, and so many more people who like genuinely are going to a place with the thought in mind of like, I have money to spend on luxury, I'm looking for luxury. That is why I would send something like those shoes if they would price them similar to what I would price them at. Now, the other consignment levels, I think you start off with 55% for items over $200, then you move up to 60 or 65%, and then when you're in the top tier, it's the 70% commission. So I guess the lower commission rates add a whole new kind of like ball game there, because obviously comparing 55% or 60% to the 80% on Posh is quite a bigger loss. So you'd really have to kind of like do your math, do your calculations, do the thought of like, do I want to wait on this? Do I just want it to sell? I don't know. You gotta like put more thought into it that way. But if you do reach the 70%, which I will dive into how I got there and why I got there, then I think that it is pretty smart to send them items that you will price similarly. Anything else, I will sell myself. So if it's newer, not dated, and it's not just some brand that I don't know and can't sell well, it's something that maybe I will price way better or way differently, then I'll sell it myself. If it's kind of like trendier or something that I think will sell really well for me, or sometimes honestly, if it's just something that like I want it to be in my closet to make my Poshmark closet look bougie, I'll sell it myself. But again, vintage, dated, brands that just don't sell well on Posh, and items that they will price similarly to me, I will send to them. So let's dive a little deeper on the 70% commission tier, and let's talk the strategy and thought process for me behind getting to that 70% tier. The moment that I started using the RealReal, I knew how their commission structure worked because I looked into it quite a bit. Right off the bat, I was like, I am going to get to 70%. So that was my goal literally since the first box that I sent to them. When I started with them, I sent them basically every single item for my Poshmark closet that I knew they would take. If you don't know, they have a designer directory on their website and their app where they have a list of the brands that they will take. And then there are brands that aren't on there that they accept as well. And that is a long topic, so I'm not going to dive into that right now. But if you want to go back and check some of my older RealReal videos, I talk about that very in depth. But that is kind of like a loaded topic. So I'm not going to dive into that, but they take all kinds of brands. I also went out of my way to pick up all kinds of items that I knew they would take, even if it meant that the profit margins were going to be kind of slim, because even if I only make a little bit of money, still my sales number counts towards that commission structure. So if you don't know, the way that you move up the commission tiers is by hitting certain amounts of sales numbers. I think the 60 or 65% one is like $5,000 in sales in a year, and the 70% is $10,000. So it is quite a big goal, but if you really focus on it and you really like try, I think that I got it in like 6 months. So it's definitely doable. You just have to be like really trying to do it if you want to get it done like quickly. I was picking up items that I knew I wouldn't make much on. Like I was getting like really bad brands like J brand jeans and like other like cheaper things I knew they'd price at $50. If I was literally gonna make a buck from it, because say something sells for $50, 20% coupon, it's $40, you're only getting like 40% of that. You only make like $8, I don't know, it's not much. And I was paying like $6 for them, but I just wanted to get my commission up. So I was like, I may not be making much on this item, but it's still going towards my sales number, and that was my main goal. It wasn't really profit yet, it was like just boost the sales number. And I was also ordering things online from like eBay or Poshmark to send them, including some of those like not so great things, but also getting some more expensive stuff, because obviously a bigger sale is going to be a bigger chunk lopped off of that $10,000 that you need to hit. My thought process behind doing all this, since I obviously wasn't very like profit focused at the time, was once I get to 70%, then I can send them my items that they'll mark over $200 and make almost as much as I do on Posh. So that kind of touches back on the first one with why I send them like higher items. I wouldn't have to do any work really besides packaging something up and putting it in a box and sending it off, and I would be making basically as much as I would selling it myself, which means taking the pictures, it means storing it, sharing it, answering questions on it, maybe dealing with like a return or issues with it. So I was like, yes, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of like small profit margins, but once I hit the 70%, it is going to pay off, and I can sit back and I can send them my expensive items. And that's exactly what I did. And so I would highly suggest, if you are going to be serious about using the RealReal, to really try to hit the 70% commission tier. Next up, let's talk about paying up for items that I'm sending to the RealReal, and kind of like what I will pay for items that I'm sending them. Of course, when an item is going to be marked over $200, I am going to pay up for it. Things on the RealReal sell very quickly, and they sell for quite often the price that they list them at, especially when they are those over $200 items, because if they're being marked that high, there's probably a reason behind it, and the reason is it's something that people are actually looking for and willing to spend that much money on. So I will pay up for those items. It's kind of, I always think it's almost like the stock market. We'll use an example, a real life example of something that I did that makes me think it's like the stock market. So I went to a consignment store and I found a dress by the brand Rhode, R-H-O-D-E, and this dress was marked at $65. I had never had the brand, I had never tried it, I had heard of it, but I didn't really know what the comps were and stuff like that. So I checked on the RealReal, and dresses of the exact same style, maybe in different colors, were being marked at like $350, $300. It was $65 at this consignment store, and of course I'm like, okay, let's buy low and sell high. And so I bought it for $65, sent it in. Sure enough, they priced it at $350, and this is quite the up and coming brand, and they know what they're doing when they price things. So this dress sold for the full asking price, and that means that I made 70% of $350. That is kind of like what I mean by paying up. When you do this though, it's literally almost like a game. You need to remember that almost everything on the RealReal gets a 20% off coupon like day one. They have that promotion running all the time. I've never seen a day when they didn't have it, and it applies to literally almost every single item on their website. You also have to keep in mind that over time they lop the price of things because that is how they continue their steady sales, is they just keep chopping down the price. They do it, I don't really know exactly how often, maybe like every 2 weeks to every month, but it'll go down 20%, 30%, 40, like it usually goes in 10% intervals, and they do that over time. So if your item's not doing too hot, it's gonna keep getting marked down, which is why you really need to stick with items that would have quite a large profit margin. With that dress, for example, of course, $65 I'm spending and it'll be listed at $350. They would have to mark it way down for me to start even getting to the range where I would just make my money back. So I felt very secure and confident in that decision. So let's do an example of like a situation where you probably would not want to pay up for an item. So say that you see, we'll do Versace again. I don't know why Versace is the brand of the day, but you see a Versace dress at a consignment store and it is marked at $100. So obviously Versace dresses are like $2,000. So that's a crazy good deal. So you're thinking to yourself like, oh, the RealReal probably will mark this super high. It's going to be an investment, but they're probably going to mark it really high and I'm going to make a bunch of money off of it. So you check the RealReal and they mark the Versace dresses at only like, let's say $265 or $250, because they definitely don't base their pricing off of retail. They base it off of the demand of the market. So let's just say they're only going to mark this dress at $250. So obviously that still sounds like a pretty good gap. Kind of just thinking about it quickly, you're like, okay, $250, it's like $100. That's not awful. But then you have to think about breaking down the math. If that item sells day one and you're in the 70% commission tier like me, it's listed at $250. That person right away gets the coupon with the RealReal to get 20% off. Already it's down to $200 that the person spent. Then you get 70% of that $200. That is going to be $140. I feel that that is way too risky. Obviously, in that scenario, you did make $40, but again, that's selling day one, and that's not guaranteed. Things do sell quick on there, but I would never like count on things selling, even in the first month. So you really have to like mentally prepare and like factor in the discounts and the possibility of things not selling right away and the coupon and all the stuff like that. So when you're doing the game of paying up for higher price items, you really have to do a lot of like mental math and mental like what if situations. You also should always do a lot of like RealReal comp checking. So like I did with the road dress, check for the same style, and even if you can't find the same style, just a very similar thing. If it's a maxi road dress but you can't find the exact same thing, just look at their road maxi dresses and see what they price them at, because odds are it's going to be pretty similar. And then for items that are marked under $200, I will really only pay like thrift store prices, and as the price is lower, like if they're under $100, I will probably only do the bins. No longer am I hunting for those like low profit margin items. Again, I do a lot of mental math of like, even if I find like a theory blazer and it's $8 or $9 at Goodwill, sounds like a good deal, but the RealReal marks them quite often at like $60 to $80. And nowadays, you only make 40% of items that sell under 100. There's just not room for that much profit there. So I really don't even pick up stuff at the thrift store if I know that the RealReal would mark it under $100. Let's get to kind of the final topic of this video, and that is just my process with using the RealReal. There's not really any like big secret here. This is just how the RealReal works for me and my business. So when I'm at the bins or the thrift store, I always have like a separate pile for the RealReal. I really keep it as like a separate business venture from my Poshmark items. The items that I sell in these two places are quite different, so they're very separated. I save up items until I have at least a medium box worth. I don't want to just send in like 3 to 5 things at a time. I want to send in a good 10 plus. Even more is even better. And I ask my consigning associate person, I don't know what they call them, I always forget, to send me 5 labels at a time. So you can go on the app app, or you can go to the website to get a label sent to you. I send so much stuff in, I ask for labels in bulk, and so she will just send me like 5 items in an email like once every 2 weeks. I send in about like 3 to 5 boxes a week. Now, I think the regular RealReal user probably does not do that, but I use them like crazy. They're a huge part of my business, and I love using them. So for me, that's how much I send. You don't have to send in that much. I also like to hand write my lists, so you can enter in your items online or on the app of like pick the category, pick the brand, whatever, but I just find it a lot easier to hand write my lists, so you can ask your consigning associate for a blank packing slip, they call it, and you can just write out, it's the same information, it's still brand, category. Yeah, I just like to hand write it, and then I always take a picture of it just in case, say something happened to the box. I have a picture of what was in it, and you can send your picture to your consigning associate and they will enter the items into the system so that your processing goes a little bit faster once the box actually gets there. While I am dropping off 3 to 5 boxes a week, I also get 5+ boxes of returned items every single week. These are the items that they do not accept from me. They will send them back to you for free, and that sounds all fun and dandy, but it does get a little overwhelming. I mean, it's a good thing that you get all your items back for free when you're sending in so many items. Sometimes I'll come home and there's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Leaning Tower of RealReal returns. It's stressful. So then with those items, I check them for flaws because I may have missed something, and if they do have a flaw, I'll just get rid of them again. But if there's no flaw at all, and I know that it's a brand that they will take, I will actually just put it back into my pile for my next box that's going, and I will resend it to them. There are items that I've sent them so many times, and they do end up taking them in the end. So just keep trying. And then I check the RealReal app in the My Sales, My Items section literally so many times a day just to see updates on like where my boxes are at in processing, what has pictures, what has prices, what has a description, and I always check my listings to see if they made any flaws. I've had times when they've like literally had the wrong picture like of a different item for my item, and I email them right away and I tell them to fix it. Or sometimes the price is way off, like say if they had priced that road dress at like $200, I would have emailed them and asked them for a price raise, because you can do that. They definitely don't always do it, but if they do see that they're kind of like quite far off from what they normally price similar items to, they will raise your price. And I do request that every once in a while, not too often, because I'm sure that that could get irritating for them, but I'll request that every once in a while if the item is priced quite lower than I expected. Okay, so this was probably quite a long video and very rambly, so if you made it this far, kudos to you. I'm sure that this was quite a lot to take in. Lots of information, and that's why sometimes I get nervous about making these videos, because it's literally just me sitting here like babbling. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Like I said, give it a thumbs up if you do like seeing RealReal content from me. And also, like I said, there will be an extra video tomorrow, and that is kind of a sales update, and it's really just like a sales highlight reel of what my best sales for the past couple months have been. Let me know if you learned anything today, and let me know if you used the RealReal, and if not, are you going to try it? And I will see you guys tomorrow myself, and then I'll see you with Ryan on Saturday. Bye.